final court hearing is underway in UK. The fight to save that Ram temple in UK's Peterborough, where the Hindu side has been fighting strong. I want to introduce Lord Rami Ranger joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for speaking to India today. If I can quickly see you on my screen. Thank you, sir. I first want to begin by referring to the letter that you have written to the Secretary of State for Housing, Communities and Local Government, where you have urged that they must overturn this decision. Do share with our viewers what you're requesting through this letter and how it has been received.
Thank you for having me on your program. It is a very sad day for the race relation and community cohesion in a country where diversity is accepted, respected, and protected. But unfortunately, the Peterborough Council, led by a council leader, Shabana somebody, Shabana Qayyum, has decided in her own wisdom that she's going to treat a Hindu temple of 40 years as a commercial property and sell it to the highest bidder without taking into account the sentiment, the emotional attachment of the Hindu community with that temple, where children have grown up, old people take solace. And during the COVID time, this was a community center from where the food was distributed. So this is not just an ordinary temple, it is a center for Hindu activities, cultural activities, and to bring people together for a better value system which Sanatanis have. Because, as you know, we are an ancient civilization. We are taught to treat the world as Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world is our village. So the Hindu community has contributed a great deal. Instead of protecting them, supporting them, council leader decided to close them down so that they have no more place of worship from where they get this philosophy of working hard, showing loyalty, integrating into society, and contributing more than the most. As you can today see, all Sanatanis are running the blue chip company, and they are the most prosperous in the whole world. They commit very little crime because of the philosophy they inherited. They look after their children, they invest in their education, they become high achievers, they pay higher taxes. On top of that, they look after their old parents. So therefore, this is a role model community. This should be supported, encouraged, and given full support so they can continue to add value to the United Kingdom. But unfortunately, money played a role, even when we said we will match the bid. But the right way would have been the council should have got the valuation done and come to the Hindu community and they said, this is the valuation. Can you match it, pay it? So we would have done that. But they put it in an auction, like cattle auction. That hurt our sentiment. Our place of worship is not a commercial property which you can treat without any respect, dignity, and consideration. So that is why the trustee of the temple, Gauri Chaudhary, contacted me, and I was appalled. I was appalled because Hindus have no temple after this, and the Muslim community has 7, and they will have 8. What kind of justice is this? So I wrote to the Secretary of State, but again, vote bank matters. They all, caved in to the vote that Hindus have less vote and the Muslims probably have more vote. I do not know the real background, but unfortunately, but still, the justice should be seen to be done. We are under the rule of law. Every community is equal under the rule of law. You cannot show preference to other people. Otherwise, the whole system will collapse, and there will be no community social cohesion in this country, because then when you prefer one community over the other, and especially they had the 40 years right to worship in that place.
I want to talk about this in greater detail because through your letter, you have also warned of long-term consequences and how this can really hurt the sentiment of the Hindu side that has been fighting very strongly, calling this purely discriminatory move by the Petersburg City Council. As you rightly said, that the trustees were willing to match the highest bid, but they were not given an opportunity. What do you think is the intention behind that?
Well, I just say because, we are all blessed with sight, but very few people also have vision to see the consequences of their action. And Peterborough, you can see they have made a Hindu community spend money on legal cost, which is they can ill afford, because the monies come from devotees, £10, £5, £2, they pay for not for litigation, but now the Secretary of State, by keeping quiet and taking side, has really put the Hindu community in this position where they have to find money to fight for justice. Justice should be a natural right. And on top of that, the publicity the Peterborough Council has now got and the leader has got worldwide, that has hurt the sentiment of Hindu. What do you think Hindus are thinking today? That they are not even safe in United Kingdom, where they contributed more. Both time the India sent million strong soldiers to defend UK, king and empire in both the Great War. They sacrificed lives, and on top of that, they came back to rebuild United Kingdom after devastating war. What kind of repayment is that? And this community is the highest earner, higher taxpayer, commit less crime, and they are an asset and role model community. And this is how you treat them. Just for few £100. My goodness, for few £100, when the council spend millions of wasted money on projects which have no use to whatsoever. But this is a real community living, working, contributing, paying taxes in Peterborough, and you have dealt a blow to them, and you had said you have shown that they are a second class when it comes to their places of worship, and when it comes to their the status in this country. And this is not the end of the matter. The Hindu temple will be built no matter what happens, but we will also be taking them to human rights in European Court of Justice, because this is the beginning, because we have to follow the process properly. I mean, you can't just take it lying down. Otherwise, there'll be another Hindu temple expecting the same treatment. So I think the trustee, especially Gauri, has worked very hard in raising this issue in the Hindu community, and Hindus are now united, to fight the council. We will raise money, we will do whatever it takes, but we will not give in so easily, because we are expecting justice. 40 years of somebody's right to that property where they have emotional attachment, to sell it like a commercial property, totally unacceptable. It is beyond my imagination. Just speaks volumes about the vision and the common sense of and the judgment of those people who made this decision.
So I request you to stay on with us. In fact, Gauri Chaudhary is also with us on the broadcast. Gauri, thank you. You've been consistently speaking to us on this very issue. I want to bring one pertinent point, as he also mentioned, because the Hindu side is saying that if the verdict today goes against the temple, closure is not an option. The trustees say that the issue is about fairness, equal treatment of all faiths, and protecting the Hindu community's place of worship. What are you expecting will happen in today's hearing? And if there is an adverse consequence, then what?
So today's hearing is the 5th day of hearing. And what happens in the UK court is the court goes for a recess after this. It's very unlikely that the verdict would come out today. It may come out in September, October time, because a judge has to, there are tons and tons of papers that he's need to go through and carefully consider. But if it doesn't come in our favor, like Lord Rami ji mentioned, there are options. There's option of a Supreme Court. Of course, that's very, very expensive, and we are a small charity, as I previously mentioned. There is we can go to the court in Luxembourg. So there are still options available. And, this is a wrong precedent that would be set in United Kingdom if it let it happen. So the fight is really about the wrong process followed by the city council, about their inconsiderate behavior, with a community that has a long establishment in the city, and the loss of a public confidence in the democratic decision-making process of the Peterborough City Council. So how it looks next to us would obviously depend when the hearing is concluded today.
All right. I also want to bring in Lord Rami Ranger back to refer to one of the interviews India Today had done with Councillor Roger Antunes of the Peterborough City Council, who said that he had opposed the council's decision. He had said the due process had not been followed. Despite that, the council has been going ahead with what they want to do. Why is it that they continue to dispel what their own people are also saying?
This is a very sad day, even for the Muslim community, to demonstrate that they have no qualm in destroying a Hindu temple and making a mosque there. I appeal to the trustees of the Muslim community who are buying this Hindu temple. I say, why do you have to have a mosque where the Hindu temple is already functioning for the last 40 years? You have enough land, you can go anywhere. Why come to the place of worship which has been used by Hindu community for 40 years? They turned blind eye. They did not even respond to my letter. I even sent them a news cutting where a Sikh family gave land to Muslim in Punjab to build a mosque. I said, this is a real religion. Peaceful coexistence. That is what Sanatani tells us, Sanatani Dharma tells us, or Sikh Dharma tells us, that we should live in harmony with the fellow human being. There is a very sad that people have shown no respect in regard to the Hindu community or the sentiment, this peace loving community which contributes more than most, and as I said, they are an asset to the community, to the country, and therefore it is so sad that the people of the council has shown no respect. Even the Muslim community did not bother to take on board the hurt they will cause by putting a mosque at the place of Hindu temple. Can you imagine? Same thing as Ayodhya. Yes, how will Hindu forget this? How will they ever forget that this is what justice was done to us, that our place of worship was removed and another mosque was put on top after having a 7 mosque already in the area. So therefore, this is a long drawn battle, and I will appeal to all your listeners, if they want to support Gauri financially, it will be a very useful for us to carry on this fight, because after all, this is a charity, a small Peterborough temple, and they are put in a situation which they never wanted to be in. So whatever we can do, we will do. But at the same time, if the community galvanizes support, that will help. And if I can ask through your video that the Indian High Commission should also come forward and help us get justice. We don't want preferences. We don't want that Hindu should be given special treatment. All we want is a fair and equitable solution. Justice should be seen to be done. You want money, we give you money. But why do you have to insult the Hindu community? That is the question I want to ask them.
All right, I quickly want to take this back to Gauri and extend it with the point that you've said, Gauri, because you've been instrumental in galvanizing support from every quarter for this fight. And quickly to say that 18,000 Indians have been praying in this temple for the last 40 years that it has existed, while there are 30 mosques and Islamic community centers within a 50-kilometer radius. This is the only temple that exists. Then why go after this? And why is this simple argument not cutting across?
I wish I could answer this question if I knew the answer to, but this is something that I think we are all asking. It's just very sad. It's a sad day because this legal battle that we are, fighting is the taxpayers' money. So the council's money that is going to pay the fee of the barrister, of the solicitor, is coming from the taxpayer pocket. And our legal battle is also coming from the taxpayers. I would not say taxpayers, they're coming from, simple people like us, devotees' money. We shouldn't have been going to the court. If there was a careful consideration that took place, there was a communication between the Peterborough City Council and BHS. And if the council cared for every community in the city, we wouldn't have been in this situation. And that's all I can say about this. I don't know the answer to your question as to why we are here. I wish I knew. I wish I knew that.
Gauri and Lord Rami Ranger, many thanks for speaking to India Today this afternoon in about an hour or so. Yes, sir. Please make your point.
I just want to add one thing. The money council is spending is also the Hindu money which they have collected through taxes from them.
Yes, that is something that the Hindu side has been furthering. about an hour or more that the hearing is set to begin. I wish you all the very best, and we'll keep continuing to update our viewers.